What is up, guys, and welcome back to Mastery episode number 2. In this series, I share with you some of the skills that you need to know in order to become more successful in business, trading, and life. Now, many starting traders simply struggle. They're either losing money, they're just barely breaking even, or sometimes even after a lot of studying and hard work, they're making money, but they're not making more money than if they had simply held. Now, over the past years, through a mix of both experience and study, I found that there's only one single factor that separates winning traders from losing traders. Now, that single factor is not some secret formula or strategy. It's not some fancy analysis tool that will change your trading, but much rather, it's consistency. Now, what consistency does is that instead of focusing on that one big winning trade that will make you rich and change your life, it's focusing on making small winning trades day after day after day and turning your portfolio from small to consistently growing over time. See, one of the biggest issues that we see in the trading world is because there's no rules, there's no parameters. It's like a basic free-for-all. People wish for that lottery ticket that will change their life instead of simply focusing on growing their accounts over time, instead of turning it into an ever-expanding money machine. So in this video, I want to share with you 3 ways in which you can become more consistent in your trading. Are you ready? Let's go. The first key to becoming a more consistent trader is to start screening. Screening essentially means that instead of just hopping on the charts and picking whatever looks good to you, going out of your gut or just going after whatever pumps the most, you actually have a system for picking your trades. Now, in order to do screening, you essentially need to do 2 things. First, you need to have a preset blueprint of what kind of trades you want to get into. And secondly, you need to set some time aside in which you simply go over hundreds or at least dozens of different charts to pick the right ones you want to trade. So, if you're a swing trader, I would recommend to do this at least once a week. I personally used to do this every single Sunday. I would spend 2 or 3 hours at the charts, going through at least 100 different symbols and picking the right coins or stocks to trade. Now, what I would look for is a certain pattern. So for example, if you're a reversal trader, look for the most beautiful double bottoms, right? And perhaps you go through 100, but you might only find 3 or 5 that match your criteria. But it will turn out that these 3 or 5 will greatly outperform all the rest because the other ones will likely be gambles, while this one has a high statistical probability of turning out the way you want it to. Now, if you're a day trader, you probably should do this daily. So every morning before you start your trading session, you should click through as many charts as possible and look for the one with the best setup possible, a high reward to risk ratio, and a high probability of turning out the way you want it. So know exactly what pattern you're looking for and then just simply click through as many as you can and find the right ones. Now, once you finish your first trade, you should do the same process over again, because this is how overtrading happens. People plan their first trade, they're successful with it, they make some money, and they become confident, they just hop into right the next one, and then they mess up. So instead, take a 10-minute break, take a 30-minute break, and actually review the charts again. Try to find the next best entry, and sometimes it just pays to be patient, because it's not about just jumping in the next trade, it's about waiting for the right moment and then doing it. So screening will really save your trading game by increasing the probability of trades turning into winners, and by increasing how big of a winners you have and limiting how big your losers are. Number 2, journaling. Now, journaling is really the alpha and the omega of trading because only if you measure, you can grow. So, after every single trade, you want to pick up your trading journal, and this could either be an actual physical little booklet or it could be a simple Excel spreadsheet. And you want to track down where did you enter, how much did you buy, and where did you exit? And perhaps how much in fees did you pay? Now, this will allow you to get a proper oversight of how big are your winners, how big are your losers, how often do you trade? Perhaps you pay way too much in fees and could simply save some money by switching exchanges or just trading a little bit less. You will also be able to identify whether or not certain strategies or certain setups work for you. Perhaps for 1 week, you choose a certain kind of pattern or setup to use during your screening. And then that week you measure in your journaling how well you performed. And then perhaps the next week you choose a different pattern or a different setup that you're going to use in your screening, and you'll again journal and find out, well, this week I performed so much better. So perhaps chances are that other pattern you perform a lot better with, or perhaps it's simply a more higher probability pattern. So the bottom line is that you can't win this game by simply guessing and going based on your gut, because something that happens so often to traders, whether they're new or have been in this game for a long time, is that when they're just trading out of the gut, they don't screen, they don't journal, 1 month they realize, where did all my money go? I remember I had like $100,000 in my portfolio, I'm down to 70,000, and they don't even know which trade cost them the money. So by doing the proper journaling, you will know exactly where did that money go. Maybe it was that one really horrible trade you did, or perhaps it's like every single trade that's basically robbing you money. And that will tell you whether or not, for example, you probably should quit day trading and instead focus on buy and hold, or perhaps it shows you, look, your swing trades are amazing, but your day trade sucks, so then you focus on swing trading. So whatever the journaling tells you, it will tell you the truth because the numbers don't lie. And finally, number 3, having a trading plan. Now, we briefly talked about trading plans, I believe, in the last mastery video, but we really need to get a little bit deeper on this. Because in order to do your screening, first of all, you need to know what your trading blueprint looks like. Without having a clear trading plan that establishes both what kind of trades you're looking for, how you're going to manage that risk, how much risk are you taking per trade, how are you adjusting your stops, and a lot of these questions that really need to be answered, having a trading plan will give you the consistency that you need, because it will tell you exactly what kind of trades you're even looking for when you're screening. It will tell you how much risk are you taking per trade, and also how are you adjusting your stops and how are you taking your profits. Because one of the biggest issues that traders have is that once they're in the trade, they're essentially guessing. They're like, well, should I sell? Should I get in? Should I get out? Where should I put my stop? And that trading plan should answer all these questions and just give you a little bit more inner peace in order to be that consistent trader that makes conscious decisions instead of gut decisions. So now that we've finished all this, here are your 3 action steps. Number 1, set a time and place where you will be doing your screening. If you're a swing trader, do it on the weekends, set an hour or 2 or 3 aside. If you're a day trader, try to do daily, but set it on your schedule and make it happen. Number 2, pick up a journal. Whether it's a physical journal, an Excel spreadsheet, you simply need to start tracking every single trade in order to know where it's going. And on top of tracking it, you need to start reviewing it at least once a week to identify how are you doing, what are your habits like, what strategies are working and which ones aren't. And third and lastly, create a trading plan. At the minimum, you should know exactly what sort of trades you're looking for, what kind of setups you trade, and how much risk you're taking. So I hope this lesson helped. If you have any more questions, just put them in the comments. I'll reply to them or perhaps make another video about it. And also don't forget to subscribe and check out the links in the description with other valuable resources in order to become a better trader. I'll see you next time. But hey, before I forget, if you like this lesson and you want to take it to the next level, I've got 2 options for you. First of all, I created a free 7-day training that you can pick up here. It's totally free and there's an entire 10-minute video just on trading plans in itself to take this a whole step further. And if you're really ready to take things to the next level, click here to cryptoacademy.us where you can join the full program with over an hour of content just on trading plans and several other modules on analysis, strategies, psychology, risk management, and mechanics. So I hope to see you in the academy.
Yeah, this my note if I die. Think I tried to write this song 370 times. I could never say this, but I think for a reason that's so much bigger than